How's everybody doing? You guys good? Thank you for being here. It's been a lot of fun. So, shoot away.
Got a little game this.
Yeah, just a little game. So, what a cool thing. Just to right now to have earned the right to have all basketball eyes on Southern California for women's basketball, and credit to both these programs and the young people that even came before us. That what a great thing, and what a privileged, pressurized opportunity, and that's pretty cool.
Should be a packed house, and it's something the city needs right now.
Yeah, and I think that it blows my mind that we can use basketball to give that kind of joy and sort of an escape or a sanctuary for some people going through much more important things than a basketball game. But what a cool thing that we get to do that. It's such a get-to thing I've had so many letters, texts, emails of what it's meant to certain people that have been through so much, and I just am humbled and say, let's give them a good show.
Are you approaching this game any differently?
No, I think it's so important, and I love, Lauren Betts at the end of practice there, just going, I'm so excited for us to show this next step, and that's really what it is for us. It's a next step. Obviously, we understand the opportunity and the gravity and the rivalry and all those other great things, but I'm sort of calling it a Final Four dress rehearsal. What the feel's going to be like, and but obviously both teams really want to win, and but I also think both programs are very process oriented, and we're not playing for February 13th. We know it has a lot of implications, but I can speak for ourselves that we are going to stay with our process, and I actually think that makes us perform better in big moments anyway.
Coach, what would it be like to play SC in the Final Four, even for the national championship?
So awesome, right? I mean, I just think it would be amazing. I wonder how many little girls or even little boys would be watching that game in Southern California and might say, man, if you can see it, you can achieve it. And to be that kind of role model, that would be a dream come true.
Coach, knowing, speaking of Lauren, knowing you, knowing the type of philosophy you've installed within your team, I'm sure this is one of the farthest things from your mind, but, in terms of her candidacy as potential National Player of the Year, let me ask you this. In terms of her impact that she's had for your team this year, how big has she been?
Yeah, she's been tremendous. There are great players out there, so I'm obviously biased. But I really do believe she's been the most consistently impactful player on both sides of the ball. She's obviously not the only candidate, but the greatest thing about Lauren is it's not the most important thing. She'd much rather be holding a different kind of trophy than getting a Player of the Year trophy. But it's hard to argue, right? From how she impacts the ball, the game defensively, blocking shots, altering shots, how she's able to switch 1 through 5 and keep guards in front of her. And that's just on the defensive end. It just changes what people do with their team on both sides of the ball. Her impact has been great. But what a great thing for our sport that there's a lot of really viable candidates. That is so awesome for women's basketball. Bottom line is it's just an award for an individual, and all those people being considered, I'm sure they would much rather have a team thing over an individual thing.
The scout team jerseys are USC colors, which is different. So is that done intentionally? Usually
that's a Pam Walker thing. Pam Walker has been here forever, and we always say that if you cut Pam on USC week, she would bleed blue and gold. I don't know how long those jerseys have been around, but longer than me, and I've been here 14 years, so that is a completely Pam Walker bleed blue and gold kind of thing.
What are some other traditions then?
Well, we got some new ones today. We have a drill that we do called pressure free throws, and we have music, and then we have the guys distracting them. And the guys they were playing the USC fight song over the loudspeaker. So we had some new things that came out today. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that the rivalry is. What a cool thing to be a part of it. What an awesome, I believe it's one of the coolest rivalries in all of college sports. That being said, I don't want to put too much on that. I just really want us to focus on a very narrow circle of our control, and then the rest we'll just have to adjust and compete.
Speaking of what's in your control, this
team that's second place in the Big Ten. So do you think at all about like
Well, the
conference titles or?
only way to make a step in that direction is to do what we need to do tomorrow. I mean, that's the only thing we can do. So every game in the Big Ten right now is contested, and so much could happen here down the stretch. So I think the easiest way to get distracted is to think too far down the road. So that'll be what it will be, and I just want to focus on getting our team ready to be our best tomorrow.
It's a very different USC team than the one you guys saw last year.
Yeah.
What have you noticed specifically from the freshmen?
They're really good defensively. They're the number one defensive team in the conference. We're the number one offensive team in the conference, and so that sort of battle. But they're very consistent in that way. I think their freshmen have really, given them three-point shooting. I think that's been really critical in their big wins. But also, I think Kennedy Smith has been such a competitor. Her edge is obvious, what she's brought to the table. But I think they're using their depth really well. They're altering shots. Everything flows from their defense, though, and they've done a really good job building consistency in that.
Coach, can you speak to just the momentum behind women's sports and women's
In general,
basketball
right?
now? Even
Yeah.
California high schools being in the top of the country, it seems like this is
Yeah.
an epicenter.
Well, I think a lot of people have worked a long time, and I say have hit a lot of glass ceilings for a long time to experience. Now we're getting to experience the breakthroughs. And, so some of the things on the national level we're getting performance bonuses for the NCAA tournament for the first time. You're looking at some of the things that have happened with National Women's Soccer and the national team, but also the NWSL. You look at what's happening in Unrivaled right now. I saw a stat, and excuse me because I didn't do my fact checking, but I saw a stat the other day that of the top 10 most watched college basketball games so far, 4 of them have been women's. And I believe we're going to come to a tipping point here pretty soon, just like we experienced in the Final Four last year, that more people watched the women's Final Four than the men's. And let me be clear, I'm a huge men's basketball fan. This is nothing taking away from men's sports. This is just growing the exposure for women's sports. And it's a special time to be a part of women in sport. And the most important thing to keep in mind is not just popularity. It's about building women leaders. It's about self-esteem. It's about representation. It's about moving things forward and preparing people for life through sport. We all can agree that it's one of the best training grounds that exists in all of life is sports. So why shouldn't women be having at least equal an opportunity to experience that growth and preparation?
You've been on the forefront of so many of those things that you just spoke about. But if you're able to, I know
Yeah.
your focus is on the game
Yeah.
tomorrow, but to just kind of take a bit of a step back, how much pride do you feel even ahead of this game tomorrow?
Yeah.
And saying, hey, I invested in that and now look where we are.
Yeah, and I didn't invest by myself. And actually, Lindsay specifically. Lindsay and I have teamed up on several projects that really require us to take off our institutional hats and choose a more global view of growth. And so I haven't made those choices by myself, but to be on the committee that worked with the Kaplan report that was analyzing gender equity in sport through championships, it opened my eyes to a lot of things, and a lot of those things have changed. And a credit to the NCAA that's been willing to change some things that way. And a lot of people were like, yeah, we need to do that. But we're not done yet. We're just scratching the surface. And, we need even more exposure. We need more linear television, even that we have right now. We need more corporate sponsorship. We need corporations to understand that actually the engagement level with women's sports is actually higher. So if you want more bang for your buck as a corporate sponsor, you need to get involved with women's sports or get left behind. It's the best bang for your buck you can have. And then we need people to fill arenas. And that's got to be a consistent thing, not, we're going to sell out, we're probably going to sell out 4 times this year, at Poly. Next year it needs to be 8, and there needs to be a relentless quest that we're not done yet. And we need, people like you all being here. We need the media. It's very, very important that the media tells these women's stories. And we need to be a part of a group of people that is pushing things forward and making it almost like you're going to miss out. And don't miss out on this because women's sports is where it's at.
No one's like media better than you. So.
Well, thank you.
JD left practice early, and Zany's on the scout team today.
Yeah.
Give us, like, some updates?
Well, I think we're healthy. I think we've been doing that as a mix in some ways to try to get, Xenia's been doing. I mean, she's just been unbelievable in her growth process. She's been working out at 6:30 in the morning, extra every morning. This was just a way for us to get her some more reps, and I think to put things that way. And we've done that with Amanda Muse, who's redshirting this year as well. But I just think we're trying to find every way to provide her maximum growth. And so, but I think Jania's fine. I think we're actually in a really good spot health-wise right now, and excited to go into there full strength and physically, but it's really going to take full strength mentally, and it'll be the tougher, more together team that wins tomorrow, and I'm excited to go to battle with them.
Your assistant coaches, it seems like all of their inputs valued. They all kind of have a voice.
Oh my gosh,
In a week
yes.
like this, how do you see the synergy kind of come to life?
Well, I'm so fortunate. Number one, I've hired people a whole lot smarter than me. I mean, and you guys have been around enough to know that in media, I'm always giving credit to them because they've earned it. They're that good. They have mastered their crafts. And so today happens to be Tony's scout, but we're all invested in the development groups that we're responsible for. It just depends on this. We rotate all the scouting reports, and my team works so hard. I don't think I've ever appreciated our video team more, and our assistant coaches, because when you only play somebody once, the scouting load is doubled. Is what it's been in the past, especially when it's your first time through. And I really do. This is not my program. This is our program. And my job is to serve them, to equip them, to empower them. But I am so fortunate to have such an incredibly loyal, consistent, and capable staff. So, anybody else? I genuinely really appreciate you guys being here. And it doesn't do any good to have this great game in Southern California if nobody knows about it. So thank you very much.